Hello, Colas, and welcome back to Viva Barca. Welcome to the home of everything Barcelona, where we are going to be discussing on the latest as usual. We start with Sergio Busquets, as it has been reported that the Barca captain suggested to manager Xavi about the possibility of a January exit, but Xavi dismissed the idea. We are going to be discussing on that revelation as we progress. Then secondly, talking about Ronald Araujo, as it has been reported that Barca are increasingly concerned about the defender's injury relapsing during the World Cup. We are also going to be discussing on that. So guys, before we get right into it in much detail, please do ensure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Turn on the post bell notification to always stay notified whenever I post a new video. Consider liking the video and please watch it right up to the very end. According to journalist Luis F. Rojo of Marca, Barcelona captain Sergio Busquets suggested to the club that he would be open to the possibility of leaving in January. However, manager Xavi Hernandez ruled out that idea as he wants the 34-year-old until the end of the season. Busquets' time at Spotify Camp Nou is winding down. The veteran midfielder and club captain is entering the final phase of his career, which will expire at the end of the season, and as things stand, all signs point towards him leaving the club as a free agent. Barcelona for Japan have already begun the hunt for replacements and have identified several possible targets, with Martin Zubimendi of Real Sociedad emerging as the preferred option for manager Xavi Hernandez. Given that Barcelona will likely be operating on a 1:4 role again in the summer, there have been reports that they might look to sign a new midfielder in January itself, along with a new right back, as they are still on the 1:1 role at the moment. But President Joan Laporta recently confirmed that Barcelona cannot sign any players at the moment, as they are again facing financial fair play issues. Amidst this, it has now emerged that Busquets has offered to leave the club in January itself if it would help Barca in any way. Given that he is one of the highest earning members of the team, the Spain international's exit would have released a large chunk of salary mass. While it is unclear when the captain proposed such a move, the report adds that Xavi was quick to shut down the idea. The Barcelona manager sees his captain as an important part of the setup and wants to be able to count on him until the end of the ongoing season. Having seen Gerard Piqué retire recently, losing another experienced member like Busquets when the team is pushing for the La Liga title could have been a blow for Barca. So Xavi dismissing the idea would seem to be the right call, isn't it? Then moving on to the next story of discussion. According to a report from Spanish journalist Javi Miguel of AS, Barcelona are following the situation surrounding Ronald Araujo ahead of the FIFA World Cup very closely, as they are getting increasingly concerned about his injury relapsing. Araujo suffered a thigh injury while on international duty and had to undergo surgery on September 28. Following the operation in Finland, it was believed that the Uruguayan defender will be unavailable to return for at least 2.5 to 3 months. But the 23-year-old was named in the Uruguay squad for the FIFA World Cup in Qatar. Barcelona gave the green light for Araujo to travel as long as he was accompanied by a club physio. It was further reported that the Blaugrana had a gentleman's agreement with the Uruguayan Football Federation for them to not use Araujo until the knockout stages of the World Cup. But Barcelona are worried nonetheless that Uruguay might not hold up to their end of the bargain and even might rush him to a certain action in the group stages itself. This comes in light of Araujo's increased intensity in training sessions with the national team camp. It has not even been 2 months since Araujo underwent surgery, but he is pushing hard to return to action and has been involved in group training sessions recently. While the defender has assured the club that he will not force himself back, Barca are still concerned that Uruguay might play him as in the group stages itself. Les Celeste begin their World Cup campaign against South Korea on November 24 before they face Portugal 4 days later, and that is when they could bring Araujo into the fold suspects Javi Miguel, meaning he would be back into action 2 weeks before the minimum recovery time that was expected for him. In such a situation, Barcelona would demand an explanation from the Uruguayan Football Federation, as they would be in violation of the agreement. It remains to be seen how the situation evolves in the coming days as Barcelona continue to carefully monitor the development around Araujo. Ronald Araujo, of course, is still currently injured, and it came as a big surprise to many when Uruguay, took him for the World Cup. Of course, they did that following an agreement, a gentleman agreement, let me put it that way, with Barca to include Araujo in the squad for the World Cup. And of course, Barcelona agreed with them that all right, if you want to play the World Cup, then it will only be at the knockout stages, not the group stage. And that was the gentleman's agreement that was reported. So there's this report now is claiming that Barca are still scared, no matter the agreement that they made with Uruguay. They are still scared about the fact that Araujo might feature in the group stages. Araujo have been training so well, according to reports. He's doing so well. His recovery is really fast. It's faster than what many people were expecting, and he's doing really well in training. So Barcelona still have that fear in them that Uruguay might just go against that agreement. Because they agreed that it will only be at the knockout stage. And Barcelona, I think they were wise enough to also send a physio who works at Barca in the medical staff to follow Araujo to Qatar to monitor the player in the Uruguay national team, to monitor him to see how far he's gone. Of course, we all know that Barca are the employers in this case, so they have every right to do what they want to do with their employer. They have a contract with the player. And normally, if Barca wanted to say no, I'm not giving my player to you, Uruguay they don't have anything to do. They don't have any power to say we must take it. But Barca had to agree with them. So there's still that fear. Normally, we really hope Araujo return after the World Cup in such a strong way, very fit, 100%. And the worst thing that could happen to Barca is the fact that Araujo goes to the World Cup and suffer a relapse of that injury. It's going to be a big blow, to be honest. So let's see how it's going to go for Araujo, for the World Cup. I know Araujo is a fighter. He's a player who is very determined. He has self-belief a lot. And I'm not even surprised by the fact that he's doing so well in training. He's really getting, he's getting highly motivated as the World Cup approaches. So guys, with that, we have come to an end of this episode. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time. Bye bye.